as Greg mentioned before the break, that there is no presentation or any meetings without the AI. So welcome to the panel discussion about the realities behind the AI hype. So let's discuss a little bit, is there anything behind the actual hype? And what does it actually mean about when you're doing your data platforms and planning everything? So I have here Aarni Kekkonen, Arla, and Niko Salomaa. I will let you introduce yourself, but for the next 40 minutes, we're going to have a discussion, and then we'll give a short time to have questions from the audience. So let's get going. Go ahead, Aarni.
Thanks. Hello, everyone. I'm Aarni Kekkonen, lead data architect at Neste. Been in the industry about 8-9 years now, I think, and almost 4 of those at Neste so far.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Arla and I work as a data architect at Solita. Currently, I'm helping my customer in a huge legacy system migration from SAP BW to ADE and Snowflake. So been kind of hands-on doing the work and hoping that AI can help us in the way.
Yep, hey, I'm Salomaa Niko, and I work in Istekki as a leading expert in the data platforms, and I've been doing these data platform things almost 10 years now, mostly in the Microsoft technology. Of course, there is some Snowflake and other things, but that's shortly.
Nice. Welcome. All right, let's get to the topic. So let's first have a discussion a little bit how to prepare for the AI change. So what are the biggest changes you have made or are now making in your platforms to enable AI? So let's start with you, Aarni.
Sure, thanks. So far, a lot that we've done is keep on track of the whole scene. Not huge actual implementations or buying tech or anything like that, but keeping track what's going on, what are the possibilities, doing this like really low bar POCs from the different techs that we have available, like Snowflake, using Gemini that we have available, trying out with really low bar what might work and where they fall short at the moment, and what we need to do in order to make them happen in the future.
Yeah. Arla.
Yeah, I think, well, a bit boringly, I might say that the same things that, in my opinion, make a data platform without AI succeed are the same things that make it succeed with AI. And well, I think we've all heard the jargon that you need to have your data foundations on point before AI, but kind of for us that has, for example, meant that we make sure that we have the metadata and descriptions and things like that on point in our data platform, so that when we start using, for example, in Snowflake Cortex AI, we kind of get the features and can actually make it understandable not only to humans but to AI as well. So I think that's one kind of example what we've kind of done already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Niko.
Yeah, so for us we have mostly do the planning things this year, but this summer we started the project where we try to renew the whole data platform in Istekki and our healthcare organization. So we are going to probably move to the Fabric and then trying to build the data platform using the AI and find the best possibilities that how to use the AI there. And the first thing or the first phase is the use AI to generate the metadata for the bronze layer. So we need to generate those good column name descriptions when we get the new sources from us. So because there is so much we need to generate for the metadata that we can use the AI more perfectly when the time comes for the real use.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Taha and Greg showed, the kind of templating and that type of thing. So when you have your data platform solution kind of built really modular and kind of it's well easy to maintain as is, but that makes it also kind of easy to implement and kind of have AI solutions aiding, for example, in the development when you use kind of that templating type of functionalities. And well, ADE makes it easy for us, but yeah.
Yeah. So everyone will take the templating after today. Everyone will implement then, right?
Yeah, I at least got some ideas. So
Yep, same.
Good. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, let's go to the fruity part. So for the early use cases and lessons. So which AI use case in your organization has shown the most promise or surprise so far? So Aarni, do you want to start?
Sure. If we talk about something that's in production for us right now, we have a lunchbot. That's how far we are at the moment in practical implementation. Yeah, good point. But even though that's the most ready-made solution that we have, it does give a good lessons learned on how it hallucinates at times, because it's really easy to check hey, it gave me this menu from this restaurant, I can double check, is it correct? Also, what we found out with this kind of updates to we have Gemini CLI tool underneath. So the version upgraded with the actual LM model underneath, it blew up the whole thing. So testing is really important. And even we had initially, it should work code-based, it should work. It has the same command. It should, if it doesn't find one restaurant, it should go on. It didn't. So we had to try and change the prompt and everything like this kind of lessons learned, these solutions, even dumb, simple ones can give easily.
Yeah, but you found that you need testing.
Yes, different kind of testing from code reviews.
Exactly. Yeah, nice. Arla, did you have?
Yeah, I'd say that kind of generally, I think kind of to avoid the sort of blank paper syndrome. So when it comes to, for example, generating specification or generating documentation, kind of you have some structure that you can then start kind of editing yourself or re-edit or iterate on. So I think that has been, for example, for my customers, kind of the kind of helping their kind of telling us what they want. So we can take, for example, the current, for example, the cube structure as basis, and then kind of generate sort of specification template based on that, and then we can start to iterate that. Is there anything we want to add? Is there anything we want to modify? So kind of the blank paper syndrome that us consultants face, that we are kind of in the customer and just ask what do you want? So I think that's something I've definitely kind of liked. And also the kind of at Solita, we've enforced this collab AI type of working, which means that we have one computer and then some AI agent or LLM agent, and then we have one driver at the time that uses the AI agent, and rest of the team just kind of spar and workshop together. So I think that has been a good also working method for us. We've used that in a few kind of workshop days, and that makes it sort of easy that you have always someone to criticize, and someone is the AI that you can kind of criticize, so you don't have to criticize your teammates or tell that, okay, that's a stupid idea, because the sort of the idea comes from the AI in the collab AI method. So, yeah.
Um, one thing I want to highlight here, we have a really nice situation here because we have one architect like in-house and then 2 consultants, but then you have a couple of clients and then you work more in the public section. So it's a nice comparison that do we actually do the same things or is there any difference? But actually, Niko, I have another question for you. So how do you separate the hype from practical value when evaluating the AI tools?
Yeah, I think the hype is what the people create, and how we separate it from the practical use is that we just have to test it out, that does it really works, and most of the time the hype is much bigger than the real use cases. But I think it's more like how we test things and use things and learn things, and it's just we need to use and use and use the AI things and to learn about it.
Yeah.
And I have to add to that kind of the some of the hype might come from that people start to mix up that what is automation and what is AI, kind of the okay, this templating type of things and those and generating things automatically and then kind of AI. So those are often kind of confused in discussion or kind of
Yep. Yeah, and I think that it was pretty interesting when I was in the Gartner this summer, and there was that the Power BI co-pilot thing that where they use the AI to create the reports from the model. But then I start thinking that how much we can add the metadata in the Power BI semantic models, and I think it's the key point, and because I think it's only the columns, synonyms, and descriptions, but how it really understanding the field we are playing with it. So it's the industrial or healthcare or what it is. So where it get the knowledge for that do those summaries and other functions. So it's really interesting that how it goes, because I love to see that it could be the biggest possibility that real Power BI use for everyone in the company, those or that doesn't know how to use the Power BI, because it's I think how the Power BI or other reporting tools are made for the people and start really using those.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think the context is the key when it comes to separating AI hype from the kind of from just kind of generating lunch lists from the actual, not to kind of I would love to have the source code for your implementation, but yeah, kind of the context is what makes it kind of bind it to the actual people, not just
We were having lunch earlier, and you were hyping about this one tool. So I want to ask, you can mention it and you can market it, but I want to ask that how much there is a hype and how much there is actually, like, how does it work? Will it give value?
Yeah, and this is an unpaid advertise from Solita. so I was really impressed to hear the work we've done to generate this tool called Function AI. We launched it. I think it was Summit this fall to make kind of. Because enterprises are now kind of thinking that, okay, how does AI work securely and how do we bind it to our kind of workflows? And that's something where the Function AI kind of platform and tool, I won't kind of go into the details, you can Google it out and we can discuss it during coffee, but kind of to help get this enterprise-grade solution that you can securely kind of use all the latest models and then bind it to your systems and build plugins to bind it to your systems. So I think, and this type of MCP, so model context, kind of this type of workflows.
Have you used it with the customer yet? Or
Not yet, so just internal use by far, but we have some with ADE, some use cases we're thinking about.
Yeah, I was about to say, do you want to jump in and tell about maybe later on?
ADE is happy sitting there in the stands.
For one, sitting as a customer. Yeah. Okay, let's jump to the next topic. So, so about leading the change and how is the future will look like. So looking ahead 2 or 3 years from now on, how will the AI change the way data platforms are built and run? Do you, Niko, want to start?
Yeah, I think that for me at least, it's the first thing is that how the developers should use the AI and how we should lead the development process through the AI. So we can build things much faster and generate that metadata. That is the key for everything. So example, in our cases, how we are trying to do that is that we bring that source data to our platform, and then we use the context and AI to understand what those column names are and what the description is, because the column names and table names, everything can be everything. We never know what those really means before we know what these mean, and we just try to bring the context from the AI to the real column names and table names and column descriptions, because like in example, the strength can mean the physical strength or the medicine strength. So we need to understand the context, and I think it's really important for the metadata and for the future AI that we are really tell those things correctly. And for us, it's more like those column descriptions that we want to use for the further we go, because our focus and target is that we could someday unify the terminology of all the healthcare organizations, and we have those 3 organizations now, and the idea is that in someday everyone speaks the same words and use the same terms in everything. So that's our target.
And has it worked so far, or like have you started the work, or is this still on planning?
Yeah, we have started it, but it's not started that fast I wanted, because there is always something else to do. But how I'm been testing it and trying to learn it, it works really good. But it's not the easy way, but it is something we need to learn as we do, and which is the right context for the AI, that it understands it better. Do we need to bring some healthcare specific documentation, or is that the source documentation only what we need? But it's big learning curve for us to understand how it works.
And I kind of suspect that you need to find ways also to automate the generation of the descriptions and the metadata, because we don't want to kind of end up in a situation that we need to have more things to develop and maintain to use AI kind of so that we first develop kind of some automated way, or generate with AI the kind of descriptions and then validate.
Of course we have to create the own tool for that everything, and it never takes away the human perspective of it. So it's never that the AI just do things, but it helps us to do things, and we just need to validate it and understand that. I think it's always the big thing that we understand when we bring the new source data, that what it is, because it's the key for everything, that we can build something, reporting or modeling from that. And of course the idea is that we also create the documentation out of it, and we have that context already there, so it should be pretty easy to developer that it can right away check that how the documentation is, because it integrated from the AI to the tool we are going to use it.
So thinking about how much is there maintenance and what's worth actually doing, because we might create just more work. Arla?
Well, I mentioned the kind of for the what's the hardest part or this. So I mentioned the security aspect, and there the, for example, the function AI or what that might be for our organization to make sure that they can use all the capabilities that there are, but to use them securely. So I think that's that will and is a really important fact in the future as well. Well, I'd say that, for example, what happened a decade ago with digitalization, so that we first had this kind of point solutions that the digitalized solution replaced, for example, one paper, but then you had kind of some other papers, to the fact that now we have fully digitalized processes kind of all around. And I think the same is gonna happen with AI, sort of, so that currently we have this point solution that one engineer writes, prompts something and copy paste this to somewhere and this, so it kind of will move into the phase that we have these whole processes handled and systems integrate kind of together, and AI is in every step of the process, I'd say, or I'd hope.
Yeah. So Aarni, how does the future look for you?
I think there are multiple different kind of domains where you can look at what AI does, and this like end user chat with your data kind of thing is the like end user facing domain, and there the metadata management is the key, because all our current POCs have fallen apart because of mostly abbreviations that are unknown to the AI, and it has no idea what it should do. But even quite small changes to the metadata, it picks up on really well.
Yeah.
I think then another domain is like developer, making development faster, and there the agentic AIs, I think, seem to be the future. If you look at the situation right now, if you want to enable that, that also takes a lot of documentation or development practices, your naming conventions, all this kind of stuff. And what I've seen is that it works in a small contained environment, but when you have a huge data platform and you're saying, I want to build this, then again, I don't know if it's the context window, what falls apart, but that is one big thing that I think will be coming. I would hope it comes through different tools that already exist, so you don't need to build it yourself like now, because that's a lot of work to build and maintain. So for example, ADE, I imagine, is looking heavily into agentic development, and I think that is another big domain on top of the end user facing AI tools.
Yeah, absolutely. So stay tuned for what's going to happen this afternoon. There might be some surprises, who knows. Okay, so because you are all working in the core and in the heart of where is actually happening, and you are implementing the things. So what's the hardest part of leading the AI adoption? Is it the tech, people, governance, security? What do you think? Aarni, you can go ahead.
I think at the moment people are probably the easiest part, it feels like to me, because everybody's really quickly picked up on using this kind of chat interface. Of course, the chat interface is what they know, and that's what they'll use. But I don't see the biggest issues there right now. I think enterprise-wise, the biggest challenge that we are right now facing is the tech, actually. When it comes to security, when it comes to maintenance, version upgrades, all these kind of things right now would take a lot of work to implement and maintain. Like with our chatbot for the lunches, it fall apart with a version upgrade, and in order to test that, we would need a test pipeline for, I don't know what. And it's really contained. It's one prompt, same every time. But if you have something more custom, more broadly available, and anyone can prompt anything, what can come up there? I think that is a big challenge right now.
Yeah, and
when
that's
it
just
comes.
like a small example that your
Yes,
lunch chatbot
exactly.
is falling apart and all that work. And then what if you do some production
Yeah, and
things?
quick POCs, they are really quick to do with tools like Snowflake, for example. It takes 15 minutes to have a semantic model up and running.
Yeah.
But to make it actually work and maintain, that is the hard part right now, I feel.
Have you tried, for example, the
Yeah, yeah.
Snowflake? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What else tools have you tested?
Copilot for writing APIs, for example, is another one that we are looking
Yeah.
into. And it takes a lot of documentation of this is how we build an API and this kind of test we write to
Yeah.
make it work.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Arla, what do you think is the hardest part?
Yeah, well, I mentioned the security as well. Well, I have to be that I'm a bit pessimistic regarding people, so kind of the kind of amount of time that people have to adopt these. So I think actually the NVIDIA CEO already said that AI is going to make us even more busier. Well, I think yesterday he actually said that we're going to have a 4-day work week. So I don't know what he thinks, but kind of the time that we have to adopt new tools is kind of really small, so we have to kind of find ways to collectively and as organizations to adapt those. Well, as an example from my employer Solita, so we've had this kind of Gen AI kind of task force in a way to then kind of try to make sure that everyone kind of they chew it up, the information for us sort of, and then kind of make sure that everyone can kind of then don't have to do the sort of work for themselves, sort of, that we help people in adaptation as well. So I think that's important.
Yeah, and yesterday I was listening a panel discussion about the AI trust issues, and one of the panelists said that sometimes it is worth just wait. Instead of building yourself, you wait for some tool or some company do it for you, and they do it the most sustainable way. So I understand. Niko, what do you think?
I think all of those three things are the just, how I say it, slowing us down, because I think that people doesn't have enough time to use the AI in the daily basis, because there is a lot of those boring stuff and jobs you need to do that you could do for the using the AI. Example, I use the creating Jira tasks. I don't know who likes to do a bunch of Jira tasks. I hate it. So I just write the big prompt and I have those instructions to the AI that how it should create those Jira tasks, stories and tasks, and how it, and then it does pretty good job. So it's more easier for me, and then the technology is also with the people that there is not that much innovations. I don't say there is no innovations, but in our company level that, and of course we don't have that Copilot licenses for everyone yet, so it's not there. So it's kind of slowing us down, but I think it's still in the first steps we should do is that the employees and developers just start using the AI and learn how it works, because there is so much trust issues when I have been using the Copilot or other those ChatGPTs, because it is almost every time it's not that easy to ask what I want. It always do the same mistakes, and I do the same mistakes because I don't know how to ask it. But I know when I remember that I did that same mistake just 1 hour ago, and now I do it again. But it's how you ask it, and it will bring value for your job every time, I think, and it's just good speaking partner to make some innovation.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree that whatever you do, especially with the Gen AI, there is always needs to be human in the loop. Like that's the trust issues with that we have, but always human in the loop. Okay, it's your time. Now is the question time. Before we wrap it up, shoot, you have a nice panelist here. Let's take the microphone so we'll get it to the
Thank you very much. So we're talking about agile data and understanding the prompts and focusing basically on AI and using these tools either for big corporations, for small corporations, and prompts in an everyday use. So I want every single one of you to tell me of an example where you were really confident in, let's say, ChatGPT or whatever AI tool you are using. You put the prompt, you organized everything, you were having really high expectations, and then you realized that it was a complete mistake, a flop, a terrible answer, and you almost say, I'm out of this. Because it happened to me in the individual perspective. So, and I knew we definitely cannot trust this 100%. The human decision has to be there always, and we have to modify these tools to be more precise, or at least not to be that wild, like they go in a dream, and it gives whatever answer. So please tell me your own experiences on failures.
Any funny experiences? Yeah.
This really small funny anecdote that I ran into. One of our projects used Jira, and Jira has introduced this like abbreviation explainer. It automatically scans the tickets and user stories and whatever and fixes abbreviations, explains them out. And we had DV in there, which in our context means data vault, and it translated into domestic violence.
Oh dear.
It's pretty far off. Of course, you can give it thumbs and down. How is it okay or not? But give it feedback, sure. But like 80-90% of the time, it gets it pretty correct. But then there are these like when it's off, it's way off.
Yeah. Well, I think in my work and in my team's work, because you used to kind of Google things, for example, regarding documentation of technical stuff. So now kind of I don't anymore do that, or neither does my teammate. So when we have, for example, some syntax things to tell, we kind of ask ChatGPT to form something. Well, for example, yesterday I was trying to debug a situation that I had a copy file in Snowflake that didn't work, and well, I was really busy and I didn't kind of use the time to write the prompt in a correct way. So I think that's why I kind of figured it out myself quicker than the ChatGPT, but I think it was because I didn't ask the question correctly. So kind of I didn't have the background of the issue and all the error messages, etc. that I kind of got. So that's why I didn't get a good answer. And I think that's what is also with kind of good old-fashioned Googling. So if you don't know what you're Googling, you're not going to find the answer. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, for me it's not that much work relatable, but because I bring the works to the home and my daily basics is kind of it. But we started with my friends that the fantasy league for the NHL, and I need to pick the best players, and I think I need to use the AI, so I download all the players that are free agents in the website and put those big CSV to the Gemini Pro, because I need to buy it, because those regular version can't handle that big CSV files, I think. But it was so many discussions with it, because most of the time it didn't want to read the whole CSV, and it prefers me the players that doesn't even exist in the whole list. So it was kind of pointless. And then because I'm I think always the money, so I wanted players that are most valuable in the points per dollar they earn. So the first answer was that it only gives me players that doesn't have contract because their salary is 0. So it doesn't help me anywhere in that case, and so on and so on and so on. But I think after 100 or 200 prompts, I get my answer. But I think it's not perfect still, and I do my own Power BI reports to understand the better value for the players. So. But it was fun.
What is in your mind sort of, let's say not 5 years from now, but within a couple of years, the normal work a data engineer would have to do from source to value at the end? If we imagine that today, it might still be that somebody has to manually map columns, define the descriptions, build the business logic, build the report, or get the definitions for the report and build it. So there's lots of sort of manual steps currently. And what would you say that in the future, near future, this whole process looks like at your companies or in your mind?
Really nice question. Arla, do you want to start?
Yeah,
Let's switch things up.
I can start. Yeah, so I'd say that kind of for example, in migration projects, the most time-consuming part for data engineers or product owners today is kind of going through all the legacy system things and trying to kind of find the transformations from the worst case scenario UIs or something like that. So I think that is something that well, there are some automation tools, but I think that is the workflow, for example, in the migrations that you can ask, for example, well, I have this stock inventory value report in the legacy system, what kind of objects or what kind of transformations there are, and then transform those into SQL. So maybe not 5 years, but 2 years or 1 year from now, I think the workflow could go so that we could plug into the legacy system kind of under the hood and kind of translate that into SQL pretty easily.
Yeah. Niko.
Yeah, I think the workflow will be same as now, but I hope that we don't have to do kind of any documentations, that the metadata should do that for ourselves. And the business logic layer is still that we need to build, but I hope that in there also, because when we have that perfect metadata someday, the AI can produce the documentation of those business layer things and naming the columns and etc. But I think those are the things AI could maybe do for us. But I don't think there is that much going to happen between those workflows.
Yeah, really good points here. I hope all those come through. On top of those, what I've experimented a bit with is dimensional modeling, and these deep research models are actually pretty good at that. They might not give the best recommendation ultimately, but they can give you options which are pretty much according to best practices. You have this option that you could go forward with. So that's one more thing where it can really help. And then of course, how it will automate the development, that remains to be seen. And I think that can be quite tool dependent unless you really want to put your own work to it a lot. But those are the main areas, I think. Making code, it becomes more about reviewing code rather than writing code.
Exactly.
In the big picture. Yeah. And reviewing models and options that you have generated by the AI.
Yeah, I guess everyone is waiting here that what's going to happen to the data engineering work. That Let's see.
Yeah, I have to add one more point, and I think that is the kind of data anomaly detection. So I think because now we implement a lot of smoke tests and these type of case-by-case things. So I think that's probably definitely something, for example, the data kind of platform providers, being Snowflake or Databricks or Fabric, will hopefully focus on of monitoring the data quality and anomaly, so that we don't have those cases that we hear from the end user that, okay, we don't anymore get any data from this and this and this, so that we kind of can more automatically detect those anomalies. So I hope that will be in our workflow.
True. Yeah. Okay. Was there another question?
I would really like to pick Arni's brain for everybody here because on the Snowflake's AI augmentation, because you have been experimenting with that already kind of more than a year ago. And I believe I understood that you at that point enriched metadata in YAML form into the Snowflake so that you can have these talk to your data experience. How do you understand kind of the way Snowflake is moving and how would you see you might utilize that in the future?
Sure. Yeah, so Snowflake calls these, I think, semantic models now. I think back then as well. Back then it used to be a YAML file that you can generate with Snowflake's Cortex AI models, and it reads the metadata of the table, maybe a bit of the data of the table, and then it generates your first file. And here we come to the metadata question. When you don't have anything extra, it was okay for really generic stuff like customer, fine, it understands. But then abbreviations, like with the DV case, it started to fall apart. And there you really needed to manually maintain the metadata so it picks up on it. The tech has moved forward a lot. Snowflake has productionized it a lot. It's more inbuilt. You don't longer generate a YAML file. You have an agent that scans the table and stuff. But the metadata issues still stand. We had a team in August, I think, who tried it with very unique system for Neste, a laboratory system. And it, from purely the metadata of the column names and stuff, it got pretty much nothing done. So really bringing the context is the key, it looks like right now. So, and that you need to bring in yourself. Especially if it's a more specialized field. If you have, I don't know, retail sales might have a more generic stuff, and it might work out of the box more, but of course every business has their own language and terms, so those they cannot pick up on. But I really like the way that they're moving this like ready-made product that you don't mess with it yourself a lot. That's the direction I want to see it going for sure.
And then the end experience would be that people talk to their data, like anybody can have a chatbot and get some visuals or numeric answers to their questions.
That seems to be the way people like to use AIs, but maybe not even like numbers. They can also do with a story. And you can ask like what we need to do to improve our sales, and it could go a bit deeper and see like, okay, this sales department is lagging. Is there a wider worldwide thing that's influencing it? Or is it something specific to you? Do you need to improve your process? Should you drop the whole business segment off? This kind of maybe deeper analysis could be something that's useful and not just graphs and stuff. Give you like direct suggestions what to do. Yeah. Maybe.
We have, or will you, Reiska, continue? We have time for one more quick question. Okay, we can talk later with you. So one more quick question. Anyone? Then we'll wrap it up. No. Okay. Well then. So let's leave the audience with one takeaway for leaders preparing for the AI change. What would you say, Aarni?
I get to steal the metadata management. Sorry. But I mean, yeah, the context is the key.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I'd say I want to be the kind of advocate for humanity in this area of AI. So I'm gonna actually refer someone sitting here that kind of when you're hiring people or choosing a partner to do a data implementation, kind of make sure the people you're doing it with or the data people should be interested in data. Kind of they should be interested in the that the data is correct, not necessarily that it's done the most kind of recent technology. So I think data people should be in the area of AI as well, interested in data and business.
Yeah, Niko.
Yeah, I think the metadata management and the context is the most biggest thing, and I also say that use it, try it, learn it, and maybe the one thing is also that we need to change the ideology how we think for the AI. We don't maybe can do same things we used to do, but we need to change how we do things and how we document things and everything, so the AI can use it better.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So this is the end of the discussion today. We're going to have a 30-minute break and we'll meet you here. And then we're going to kick off with the official summit agenda. And you can find all of us in the break. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining.
Thanks.
Thank you.